Ladies, can we get real for a second? Because I think you're tired of hearing the same old advice. Be nice. Be available, but not too available. Don't be too forward. Stay in your feminine energy. But don't be intimidating. What does that even mean anymore? There's a version of femininity that's been so watered down, so polished and filtered that it's become lifeless. But then there's you, the woman who's grown out of playing it safe, the woman who's been through enough to know that she doesn't have time for performance. She wants connection, intensity, depth, play, and most importantly, she wants to feel desired, not in a passive, hope he notices me way, but in a way that stops a man in his tracks, a way that makes him lean in and think, what is it about her that I can't shake? Because here's what nobody tells you. The most sexually irresistible women, they don't try to be perfect. They lean into the parts of themselves that are imperfect, wild, bold, mischievous, dirty even. And it's in those so-called vices that their power lives. I'm not talking about toxic behaviors. I'm talking about the delicious, daring, unapologetic traits that come from maturity. The kind of maturity that says, I know who I am. I know what I want. And I'm not here to apologize for either. These dirty vices I'm about to share with you aren't bad habits. They're what make you unforgettable. They're the little edges that create heat, spark, and sexual gravity. So if you've ever been told to dial yourself down, I'm here to tell you the opposite. It's time to turn up the volume on the parts of you that make a man feel something real. Let's get into it. 8 dirty vices that make a mature woman sexually irresistible. She teases without apologizing, not because she's trying to manipulate, but because she understands the power of playful tension. This woman knows that seduction isn't about being overtly sexual every second of the day. It's about creating little sparks of curiosity, moments of friction. She plays in that gray area where flirtation becomes a form of emotional foreplay. And she does it all without second-guessing herself or watering it down to seem more proper. When she teases, it's not mean-spirited, it's magnetic. There's a glimmer in her eye, a knowing smile on her lips, and an energy in her voice that says, I know exactly what I'm doing. She might challenge you with a sly comment, make fun of the way you order your coffee, or send a message that toes the line between innocent and completely loaded. And here's the magic. She doesn't explain it. She doesn't follow it up with just kidding or don't take it the wrong way, because she doesn't need to explain. She knows that part of the attraction lies in the mystery. There's a difference between a woman who flirts because she's seeking attention and a woman who teases because she's enjoying herself. The first comes from insecurity. The second, that comes from confidence. She's not doing it to hook you. She's doing it because it's fun, because it makes her feel alive. And when she feels alive in her feminine energy, she naturally draws people in, especially men who are used to women either playing it safe or trying too hard. What makes this kind of teasing irresistible is that it comes from a place of freedom. She's not afraid to push a boundary because she trusts herself to know when to pull back. She's not afraid to play because she doesn't take everything so seriously. And that lightness, that bold teasing vibe, it's like catnip to a man who's craving a real spark. When a woman teases unapologetically, she invites a man into a dance. A flirtatious rhythm where he gets to pursue but never fully possess. She becomes a challenge, not in a game-playing way, but in the best possible sense. She awakens something primal in him, not just desire, but the thrill of pursuit, the excitement of being captivated by a woman who knows exactly how powerful she is and who doesn't apologize for being absolutely unforgettable. She speaks her desires out loud, not in a loud or demanding way, but with the quiet authority of a woman who has learned that her wants are not a burden, they're a gift. There is something deeply magnetic about a woman who is unafraid to articulate what she craves. It could be as simple as telling a man exactly how she likes her coffee, or as intimate as describing how she wants to be touched. She doesn't hint. She doesn't wait for someone to guess. She says it, and the moment she does, something shifts in the room. The air thickens. Because when a woman owns her desire like that, it doesn't just attract, it awakens. Most people spend their lives suppressing their wants to avoid rejection or judgment. But a woman who's matured through her own trials, heartbreaks, lessons, and rediscoveries, she knows that staying quiet about her desires doesn't serve anyone, least of all herself. She's done with the cool girl act, done with downplaying her needs to make others comfortable. She knows that real connection starts with honesty, and when she expresses what she wants with clarity, with confidence, even with sensuality, she doesn't just invite pleasure, she creates trust. A man can relax in her presence because he knows he won't have to read her mind. He knows she's in touch with herself. And that makes her deeply attractive. But it goes deeper than sex. This isn't just about physical cravings. It's about emotional and intellectual appetite too. She speaks up when she wants more attention, more presence, more intimacy. She's not afraid to say, I miss you, I need you, or I want to feel closer. Not as a demand, but as a vulnerable, honest invitation. And in doing so, she challenges a man to rise to her level of emotional maturity. She makes it safe for him to open up because she's already modeling what it looks like to show up with desire instead of fear. Desire is not just about wanting something, it's about being willing to claim it. And when a woman speaks her desires out loud, she claims herself. She becomes a force of nature. She doesn't wait for passion to find her. She calls it in. She creates the moment. And for the man lucky enough to be in her orbit, it's unforgettable. Because now he's not just with a woman, he's with a woman who knows what she wants. And nothing is sexier than that. She owns her body, scars, curves, and all. And when I say she owns it, I don't mean in some surface level Instagram spoken kind of way. I mean, she walks into a room like she's not seeking approval. She's offering presence. There's a quiet power in that. She doesn't need her body to look like a Photoshop fantasy to feel desirable. She knows her body tells a story of growth, of change, of life lived. Every curve, every stretch mark, every soft edge or firm line, it's not something she hides. It's something she inhabits fully. A mature woman has reached a point where her worth is no longer up for debate. She doesn't carry herself like someone waiting to be told she's beautiful. She decides she is. And here's the magic. When a woman decides she's beautiful, when she claims it without apology, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. The energy shifts. You feel her confidence before you even notice her figure. You sense it in the way she stands, the way she takes up space, the way she looks at you like she sees you and like she expects to be seen in return. She's not obsessing over angles or comparing herself to younger women. That phase is over. She's discovered something deeper than external validation, a connection to her own sensuality. She knows how to move, how to carry herself, how to slow down and let a man feel her presence. Because she's not trying to fit into someone else's mold of sexy. She defines it on her own terms. And when she lets herself be fully embodied like that, there's nothing more alluring. It's her comfort in her skin that draws you in, not perfection, not polish, but realness, texture, warmth. You're not just attracted to how she looks. You're captivated by how she feels about herself and the way she touches her own arm, adjusts her shirt, laughs with her head tilted back. Those little things become intoxicating because they're done without shame. When a woman owns her body, she teaches you how to adore it. She invites you to experience her, not just physically, but emotionally, energetically. She becomes unforgettable, not because she's flawless, but because she's fearlessly, unapologetically herself. And that kind of ownership, that's not just sexy, that's irresistible. She's a bit of a rule breaker, not the reckless, self-destructive kind, but the kind who knows exactly when the rules were made to be broken, and more importantly, she knows which ones were never designed for her in the first place. This is the woman who doesn't need to ask for permission to live how she wants. She's lived enough, seen enough, and felt enough to know that the life everyone tells you to follow, the safe path, the predictable roles, the proper behavior, it often leads to disconnection, not joy. So she stopped obeying for the sake of being liked. She started living for the sake of feeling alive. There's something undeniably sexy about a woman who makes her own choices, even when they raise an eyebrow. She might cancel a polished dinner party to take you on a spontaneous road trip. She might wear a dress that society tells her is too much, and wear it with the kind of confidence that makes everyone realize it's just enough. She might speak a little louder when everyone expects her to stay quiet, or ask the question in a room full of people that no one else has the nerve to ask. She's unpredictable in the most grounded, thrilling way. Not because she's chaotic, but because she doesn't conform. She follows her impulse more than the script. This kind of woman doesn't need to make a scene to stand out. Her rebellion is quieter, but far more powerful. It's in the way she turns a normal Tuesday night into an adventure. It's in how she lets pleasure, not productivity, guide her choices sometimes. It's in how she chooses the real moment over the perfect plan. Being around her feels like a breath of fresh air because she gives you permission to break your own rules too. She invites you to loosen the grip, drop the mask, and play again. And here's the truth. For a man, this is wildly attractive because so many men are secretly craving freedom, not chaos, freedom. And when a woman steps outside the lines with intention, with passion, with purpose, she becomes the embodiment of that freedom. She reminds him that life isn't meant to be tiptoed through. It's meant to be felt, to be lived. And when she looks at him with that playful smirk and says, "Come on, just this once," he follows. Not because he's irresponsible, but because he knows that's where the magic is. She doesn't censor her humor. And that alone makes her wildly attractive, because there's something magnetic about a woman who can laugh out loud, not just at the world, but at herself. A woman who doesn't hold her tongue when she has something sharp, witty, or downright dirty to say. She doesn't sit quietly trying to be palatable or polite. She says what she's thinking, even if it's a little inappropriate, even if it's a little too honest. And you know what? It's refreshing, because in a world where so many people are afraid to offend, she's not trying to be offensive. She's trying to be real. Her humor has bite, it has intelligence, and it has that flirtatious edge that makes a man do a double take. One minute she's charming your mother, the next she's whispering something in your ear that makes you blush. And suddenly you're wondering, how does she do both? She can light up a room without stealing attention. She can roast you with love in her eyes. And she can drop a cheeky comment in the middle of a conversation that completely shifts the tone and reminds you that this woman isn't here to be dull. She's here to play. And it's not just about the jokes. It's about what her humor represents. It shows that she's confident, that she's not walking on eggshells trying to be the perfect version of herself. She trusts her instincts. She knows when to hold back and when to let loose. She's not living in fear of being too much because she's been through enough to know. Life is too short to constantly edit yourself for the comfort of others. Her laughter is raw, unfiltered, and often contagious. And it's not performative, it's freeing. And let me say this, a woman with unfiltered humor doesn't just attract a man's interest. She disarms him. She creates that rare space where he can let go of the pressure to impress and just be. Her boldness makes him bolder. Her laughter makes him feel lighter. And before he knows it, he's not just laughing, he's falling. Falling for the woman who can be brilliant and dirty, sweet and savage, soft and unapologetically wild, all in the same breath. Because when a woman stops censoring her humor, she's not just being funny, she's being herself. And that kind of authenticity, that's not just sexy, that's unforgettable. She's emotionally dominant in the best way. Not because she tries to control others, but because she's the anchor in the room. You feel her presence. You notice the way people look to her, not for permission, but for direction. She doesn't get emotionally hijacked by chaos. She doesn't play emotional ping pong with people who are inconsistent. She sets the tone, she sets the standard, and she holds it. When she speaks, there's weight behind her words. Not from volume, but from clarity, from conviction. She knows what she feels, and she isn't afraid to express it. If something doesn't feel right, she'll say it. If she needs more from a connection, she'll speak that truth. She doesn't sulk. She doesn't manipulate. She communicates, and she does it in a way that draws respect, not resistance. That kind of emotional dominance is rare, and it's magnetic, especially to a man who's used to surface level dynamics. He feels the difference immediately. He feels steadier around her, not smaller, because her strength isn't about overpowering him. It's about inviting him to meet her there. She challenges him to rise emotionally, not with lectures or ultimatums, but simply by being someone whose emotional presence demands honesty, maturity, and depth. She doesn't chase. She doesn't beg. She doesn't fall apart to keep someone interested. She holds space. She knows how to lead emotionally. And a man who's truly ready will feel that. He'll respect it, crave it, rise for it. Because when a woman shows up with that kind of emotional power, she's not just attractive, she's unforgettable. She can turn the mundane into the erotic. And she does it without even trying. That's what makes it so powerful. She's not waiting for a candlelit bedroom or perfectly timed background music to tap into her sensuality. She brings it with her everywhere, making coffee, folding laundry, walking past you in the hallway. There's a rhythm to the way she moves, a softness in her presence, and an unspoken awareness of her own body that makes everyday moments feel charged. What makes her different is she doesn't compartmentalize her sensuality. She doesn't save it for special occasions. It lives in her. She can lick honey off a spoon in the kitchen and make it feel like an invitation. She can brush her hair back while holding eye contact, and suddenly the air changes. There's no performance, no trying. Just her being so present in her body that it invites you into yours. This kind of woman understands that eroticism isn't about being explicit. It's about energy. It's about slowing down, breathing deeper, paying attention. She leans into the senses: taste, touch, smell, sound, sight. And she knows how to make a man feel every one of them. She takes a moment that most people would overlook and injects it with intimacy, intensity, heat, and it drives a man crazy in the best way because he realizes she doesn't need a perfect scenario to turn him on. She is the scenario. She's the moment. And when she touches his arm, brushes past him, or laughs while leaning in just a little too close, he's not thinking about the day anymore. He's thinking about her, because she doesn't just exist in the world. She seduces it effortlessly. She chooses. He doesn't chase. And that one distinction changes everything about the way she moves through love, connection, and attraction. Because this woman is not operating from lack. She's not looking for someone to complete her, save her, or fill a gap. She knows her worth, and because of that, she's not scrambling to prove it. She's not throwing energy at people, hoping they'll see her value. She already sees it herself. And she's simply paying attention to who else does. There's something wildly attractive about a woman who knows she's the prize. Not in an arrogant way, but in a settled way, a peaceful way. She doesn't flood a man's phone. She doesn't contort herself to be chosen. She watches, she listens, she observes, and if the energy isn't mutual, she moves on without bitterness, because she knows someone else will meet her where she is. Her value isn't up for negotiation, and her time isn't up for grabs. She's the chooser, the woman who walks into a room and doesn't wonder, will anyone like me? Instead, she asks, who here do I actually like? She evaluates, she selects, and when she does connect with someone, it's powerful because it comes from a place of fullness, not desperation. A man feels this immediately. He senses that she's not impressed by potential. She's drawn to alignment. He knows he has to show up with substance, not just charm. And this is the paradox. By not chasing, she becomes even more desirable. Because people chase what feels rare, what feels discerning, what feels secure in itself. And that's her. She doesn't chase love. She invites it on her terms. And that's not just empowering, that's irresistible. So here is the truth. Embracing these dirty vices isn't about being reckless or playing games. It's about owning every part of yourself, the bold, the messy, the unapologetic, and letting that shine through. Because that's what makes a mature woman truly irresistible. Now I want you to ask yourself, which of these vices are you already owning? And which ones are you ready to bring out unapologetically? Don't hold back. Your power is waiting on the other side of that boldness. If you're ready to step into that confident, magnetic version of yourself, start today. Own your edges, play with your desires, and watch how your world changes when you stop apologizing for being you. Let me know which one of these vices you're most excited to own. Drop a comment or message. I'm here to help you unlock your fullest, most irresistible self.